Okay, so this is my next adventure I've been working on for a while. I'm going to explain what this is. I call it the family photo. Um, it's actually, this is the father and this is the mother, and there's a separation between the two. The father got the oldest child, and the mother has the rest. Now, I'm going to just do a quick scan so you can see the detail. And then I'll do a kind of showing the techniques of how I did this. So you can see, let me get close. And I'm going to do a demonstration. I know people like the 10 or 20-minute art. Definitely the owl's not even 1/10 finished. And I'm going to do probably a demonstration right in here of how I get the textures. And this is watercolors, but a technique I've developed over 20 years. Hated watercolors because you couldn't control them, or at least I couldn't control them at that time. And now I have a little bit more control. So this is mainly for people that, wanted to add a little bit more detail to their work, but was just not able to do it. I do also have a lot of other demonstrations of how to do different things with watercolors: seascapes, flowers, dinosaurs, just about everything, octopus, praying mantis, mantis shrimp, how to do a 4-story Anasazi cliff dwelling illustration, which I actually did the 4-story actual model in the Los Angeles History Museum. And so I was their scientific illustrator and model maker and designer. I have sculptures at the zoo and Long Beach Aquarium, Cabrillo. But I just wanted to do instructions of how to do watercolors, given a little bit more detail. Now, as a scientific illustrator, this is not, it's kind of scientific, but it's not like what I would normally do. Some of those scientific illustrations take weeks. And I understand it because, if you're a paleontologist or a mammologist or ichthyologist, all those ologies, they want everything perfect and without any flaws, because they don't want to look bad in front of their peers, which I understand. So everything's checked within an nth of a degree. Every little crack and crevice, how thick the hair is, which direction, if it's some kind of thing that has hair. So I'm used to that. But I'm going to do a demonstration on the technique. So, okay, so as you can see right here, this is kind of the way it starts. The other side, I'll show you the different levels. So right now, I'm just kind of pulling out the color. You can see there's layers and separations. So this is just layers upon layers. And that's what makes it time consuming. Take your time. If you prefer the, fast technique of watercolors, this is definitely not the video, or my videos for that. This is for the people who would like to do detail with the watercolors. And you can see I'm just slowly pulling out the colors. There's layers and layers down there, building up, doing the shadows. And I'm going to show you just real quick. Another tiny little thing. I'm using Payne's Gray, and I'm just coming right in the middle with a liner brush. Now, sometimes I even use a liner brush that is cut in half with the bristles. So definitely, now when I'm doing these lines, I'm doing them really easy. They only look easy because of the 20 years experience on watercolors. Used to do everything with acrylics. Now I just use watercolors only because I can do anything now with watercolors as I did with acrylics. I'm not going to show any sculptures or how to do model making and anything like that, because it's a whole different thing, and I just want to do demonstrations on watercolors. So I'm going to do some of the little spikes on one. Okay, so now I'm going to do the spikes. I do use a 3/0 brush, but let me see if I can get closer, just for demonstration purposes. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do a little test piece. The spikes. And you can see you got to see the blending of one of the blades. Now, there is still a little bit of scientific background in my paintings. Can't help that. That's just the nature of the beast. But I'm not going to the full extent of scientific illustration because I don't need to anymore. I'm just doing it for pleasure and demonstrations. I used to be a teacher for 15 years and try to teach my students how to do different techniques. And that's my background now, instead of being 15 years in the Natural History Museum, creating dioramas and scientific illustrations and a whole lot of stuff. But now I'm going to show you how to do, and I'm not going to do the whole thing because it's just not necessary. So I'm just kind of popping out locations. And now I would go all the way down to the bottom, but I'm not going to do that. Just do a couple so you understand the process. So I'm only going to go one direction for this direction. Now, what I would normally do, I'm not going to do it because it's time consuming. I would go only doing the right side, and then my little girl, would turn the paper around upside down and then do the other side. So it's always the same stroke of going this way. It just means it's consistent in the textures. And you can see it takes time, but some people, I'm sure some people, would like to spend a little bit more time on their work and just take it to another level. And that's what I'm trying to do, doing a demonstration for that. So I'm just going to do one here. I'm going to go against what I would normally do. I'm going to come from this direction. And there's small little things, techniques that, now this is going to definitely need the, and that just makes a little deeper shadow, making it thicker, and it's like more depth into the little pleats. But yes, there is a story behind this, of the separation of the family, because I'm weird and I don't care I just do whatever comes to mind. So this, like I said, could either be a family portrait or the divorce, the separation, the separate family. There's more. I'm not going to tell the whole story about this, but hopefully you'll get the idea. So yeah, just the way things work. Now I'm going to pull this to here. And as you can see, there's a light source. So what I'm doing here is I'm pulling out more of the paint. So there's a light direction coming like this. And then here's, because it's being cut off, there's more layers of the green. And this is just built up over layers and layers to give like a shadow effect that the sun is not hitting it. Anyway, same thing here. And you can see there's a lot of stuff in here, and then it gets dark. But that's just, like I said, it's not really totally scientific illustration, but I can't help adding more detail. Anyway, so that's just part of this project.